Hi, welcome to our interview, Mrs. Dreamer. I'm so happy to have you here. And I'm just grateful that you came in and that we can talk about Ashlyn and just where she's at in her schoolwork and with her classmates and everything. Ashlyn's great. She is such a joy to have in the class. She's always so excited. She comes to class very excited. She's excited to do her work, to tell stories. She loves telling stories. And she just really lights up the room when she comes. And she's such a great help in the classroom. She loves to be my little helper. She likes to pass out papers, or if she isn't really feeling up to doing a task, she'll ask if she can help make sure the kids are being quiet, and she'll always tell her seat partners to listen and follow directions. And so she's just such a great help to have in the classroom as well. And she's a good friend, and she's always kind to others, and she loves positive praise, so that's what we've been using, and it's been doing good. And she loves going to her speech and resources classes. She'll always ask me, is it time to go yet? When is it time? Or if she remembers, she'll be like, oh, I have to go. So she always looks forward, so that's good. And I know that was a concern we had at the beginning of the year, but she has loved going to it. And so as of late, I've been doing assessments with every student, and lately I just did the whole segment with Ashlyn. And so my assessments have been specifically focused on literacy, reading and writing. And so I performed a few assessments with her, and I just wanted to tell you what those assessments were and what they were assessing so that you can know. So one of the assessments I did with Ashlyn is called a running record. And so what I do is she reads a book to me, and I just mark down her reading as she does it. So I mark down if she reads a word correctly, and then I'll write down any mistakes, or if she self-corrects, or if she asks me for help. And then after she has read, I'll just analyze that. And so I'll see how many mistakes she had or how much help she needed, and then I'll just determine if the book that she was reading, if it was a good level for her. So if that was frustrating for her, or if it was a good level for instruction, or if it was too easy. So that was the first assessment, and I did a few of those with her. And then after those tests, I completed a comprehension test with her, where I just asked her questions. What was the sequence of the story? What were the central messages of the story? Or what happened next? What do you think would happen next? So we did a couple of those. I also analyzed a few of her writing samples. So I took her writing samples that we can look at later, and so I just analyzed her spelling, her penmanship. Is she writing in correct order? Is she following a pattern? Is she able to write sentences that make sense? Is she using punctuation? So all of that. I also did a phonics test with her, meaning I had her read a list of names to me, and then I analyzed if she was saying each sound correctly. So she would get points for saying a word, a sound right, even if she didn't get the name right. We also completed a spelling test, and along with that we tested how many she got correctly, but also she was spelling sound group and vowels and consonants and those right. And we analyzed that. I analyzed that. And then I also conducted an interview with her, just wanting to see how she felt about reading, if she enjoys it, how she felt she was as a reader. Because I know that's a concern, is she is continuing to improve on her readings and her speech and her resource class, but she told me she loves reading. She views herself as a great reader, and she wants to improve on her reading. So that's good. She is very excited and motivated to continue to improve. So that's wonderful and such a good strength of her. And Ashlyn had many things that she did really well on all of those tests, and I wanted to go over a few of those with you because we want to build on Ashlyn's strengths and continue. And so she had several strengths, and one especially was her spelling test. She did really well on her spelling test. So when I did the testing, I tested that she's in early stage of within word pattern. That means that she's able to determine patterns in words and write them. So she can hear little sounds and write them. And she is very well at knowing her short vowel sounds and the simple words, the CVC, so consonant, vowels, consonants. So she is very good at spelling words and thinking about them and writing them correctly. She does well with memorization. with learning those words, so that's really good. She spelled 10 out of 26 of the words correctly, but the test that I administered to her was through a 3rd grade level. So many of the words were above her level, words that she hasn't been taught. And I also didn't administer every word. I only administered 19 of the words because I could tell they were getting way above her level. But she did really good in picking out the short vowel sounds and specific sound groups in them. Something else that she did really well was the comprehension test. She was able to accurately state the sequence of stories to me on every single story that she read. But something that I found that was really good was she could pick out main messages of books, but she also took it a little bit deeper, and she would say, oh, I think maybe the character was feeling this way. Maybe they were doing this because they felt this way, because I've done that before. And so that shows that she was analyzing the story and comprehending it and applying it into her own daily life, which is really good higher level thinking and shows that she reads a story with purpose and not just reading the words. And finally, Ashlyn's writing has been really good. She's able to write clearly with good penmanship, and as you can see, I have the test right here. We can see she's spacing out her words good. She has good punctuation, as we can see she did here. She has commas, she has capital letters. It looks really good, and it's definitely on grade level, and she's spelling words correctly, and of course not every word, but some of them are more difficult, but she has been doing well, and that's something I've noticed. And with these strengths, we just want to continue to build on them. And so for spelling, we know that we can continue to read and write to build on that. And so in class, I have a journal of writing prompts that I'm going to have her continue to write each day so she can focus on her spelling. And I know that reading at home with her would be really beneficial. It'd help her see the words and continue to learn and memorize. And then along with her comprehension, reading with her and then asking her questions about them. That's something that we do, and or we'll draw pictures of scene. That's something that we've been doing in class. And then just to help with her writing, we're having writers workshops in the class to help continue with her writing. At home, you can have her keep a personal journal, because I know she loves to tell stories. So, if she just, maybe you want her to have her jot down maybe some stories that she has of the day, that would really help her writing. There are a couple areas of need that we just want to focus on to strengthen a little bit. So when I did the phonics test with her, I won't pull that up because it is really messy, but she did well, and like I said, she knows her short vowel sounds, but her vowel sounds, her long vowel sounds, and her controlled vowel sounds are really difficult for her. The controlled vowel sounds, that's the sound with an R, in like control. And so she just struggles with the correct sound that goes with the R, or with that long vowel sound. And so that's something that we want to work on. So something just making sure that she slows down when she reads. And we saw that in her running record too, sometimes that she'll just go really quickly, that she'll mispronounce a word. So maybe just having her slow down, and I know that sometimes that's difficult with her concentration, and that's something they're focusing on with her in resource, but if we could just help her slow down a little bit and read, and that's something that we've been focusing on. And so I've been trying to take time to read with her individually, because I know that helps her. Sometimes she'll get a little distracted with other students, and so she'll just make mistakes. And so that's something else we wanted to focus on, was just some of those books in her running record were at the frustrational level, but I think they could have been at the instructional level if we could just get her to slow down. I don't necessarily believe that it's the words or the book sometimes. I think it's just getting her to slow down and focus on, okay, that is that specific sound, and that's what it makes. And so we don't necessarily want to focus on how many words can she say a minute, but can she say them correctly, and is she sounding the whole word out, and just taking her time. And so something that we know that is really good to do that is just reading aloud to her. It's really good to have her read, but read aloud to her emphasize the words that you read. And so, like on this reading to her saying, I'm so lucky, and adding expression to it and making sure that the words are clear so that she can hear it herself. And I try to do that with our read aloud. And then to help with that fluency so that she doesn't mess up so much, and it's more just varying in your reading with expression and showing that just continued reading when you read it. So just read through the whole story so that she can see, and then have her practice that. Have her read the story and focus on getting through the whole thing. Sometimes she'll stop like mid-sentence, but just having her finish that out. And so those are things that we're working on, and that we know that you guys are great help, and you read with her at home, and she loves that. So I know that as we work on those specific things and continue to build on her strengths, that she's doing great, and she'll continue to be at grade level, and they'll continue to work with her in speech. I know we've talked with them, and they're working with her on those things too. But what's really good about Ashlyn is that she's motivated to become better at reading. And she told me that she wants to become better at pronouncing words so that she can read more words, and so that's good. So I know that as we work, that she'll reach that goal level that we and she has for herself. But thank you for coming and meeting with me, Mrs. Dreamer.